धरती पर कभी न होगा अनुज भरत सा कोई, जो 14 वर्षों तक अपने राम की खातिर रोए। ऐसे सब भाई भाई के जुड़े हो मन के तार, अमर है राम भरत का प्यार, अमर है राम भरत का प्यार। राम भरत सहना भवतु सहनौ पुनस्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। We have been studying the wonderful topic of Karma Yoga. So important to our spiritual sadhana. And I know many of you are involved in Karma Yoga, and a lot of you are doing a lot of things. But this is a good time to see the conceptual background of it. In Jnana Yoga, we studied Jnana Yoga a few days ago, and you may think, oh, this is too abstract. You may think Bhakti Yoga is too emotional. But Karma Yoga is like down to earth. This is something you can straight away do, straight away practice, straight away understand. And, just something that it's critical for us to know, because that's our next step forward. That's why it's so critical to know. Oh, I'm seeing a lot of people have joined us from the Yajna. That's nice. From the Gita Yajna. Yeah, welcome to everybody who's joining us from the Yajna. We are currently doing this book, Vedanta Treatise, by A. Parthasarathi. For copyright purposes, we have to say A. Parthasarathi. But Swamiji has written this magnum opus. This is an amazing book because it contains the entire knowledge of Vedanta from the beginning to the end. As far as I know, this is the only thing that has everything about Vedanta put forward in a systematic manner. So this is a great book to study as an entry point for Vedanta, as a comprehension of Vedanta, and until the last day also, I think we'll be studying this book because it's such an incredible book. So in it, we are now on, at least in this edition, we are on page 204. We've started the topic Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga, which is of practical relevance for our daily lives, for whatever in the world we're doing. We have to convert it to Karma Yoga. It doesn't matter what we are doing. Somebody could be a homemaker, somebody could be a doctor, somebody could be a mathematician, somebody could be a whatever, educator, whatever in the world you are. Everybody has to do this. So Why? Because Karma Yoga teaches us the way to act. And the way to act gives us multiple things. It gives us the first thing which we want, which is that our whatever actions we do should be successful. We should become productive. We should be successful in what we're doing. Secondly, our actions should not be such that they drain us of energy and we become all stressed out with it. Your work has to be your fun. If someone asks you, do you want a holiday? Your answer should be no, I am on a holiday. You don't need another holiday now. I mean, there's no harm in going traveling or whatever else you love to do, but you're doing it because you love to do that, not because you're fed up with work. Work is our succor in life. It is what gives us the greatest peace. You will never find more peace than you find in Karma Yoga. With a slight exception to that rule, as little bit more you find in Jnana Yoga. But that may be my personal bias. But there is nothing like karma, work, to keep ourselves peaceful. So the first thing it gives us is success. Second thing it gives us is peace. And thirdly, it gives us growth as a human being. It gives us spiritual growth. You cannot achieve this if you don't do karma. You just cannot achieve it. Because you can sit in your armchair and have wonderful theories, wonderful emotions. But if it doesn't convert to action, then it will just stagnate within the personality. So if you want to grow, you cannot get away from action. There is no concept in Vedanta like retirement, voluntary retirement, no such thing. You will work till the last day. We go with our boots on, as it were. Till the last day, we are going to be doing this. And why are we doing it? Because it is our Karma Yoga. What else will we do? What else is there to do? So, no concept of retirement, no concept of holidays, no concept of vacation. In fact, when we start the university, I don't know whether we'll be able to achieve this, but when we do, we're going to try and achieve it. No holidays. When you do your graduation, no holidays. You do post-graduation, no holidays. You do PhD, no holidays. As it is, nobody wants to join the university. When I tell them this, that will be the end of it. So, but no holidays. Because what are you taking a holiday from? This is your life. There is no holiday from life. This is it. This is not what should I say, dress rehearsal. This is it. This is the performance. There is no dress rehearsal for living life. And living life means doing something, whatever it is in the world you're doing. So, most important thing. Yeah, Deepraj, what happened? Why did you go suddenly like Congress? I was wondering what happened.
Even when we're doing karma, we do feel burnt out, but after some time we kind of return back, like we want to go back to the action. So that's still in line, right? Because that's like temporarily, like my physical body needs some rest. That's like
no, what happens is not that your physical body needs rest, is when you take on an additional thing. See, suppose let us take that you weren't doing karma. Then you started doing karma. When you start doing karma, you're doing something that you were not doing before. Karma means when you start doing volunteer work before all those who are new. So within the institution, most of everybody does volunteer work. Deepraj does it too. So first, when you start doing it, you're actually doing more than you were doing. So when you do that, there is an internal resistance. Okay, your tamas, your rajas will resist that sattvic work you're doing. Tamas will say, oh gosh, why do I have to do this? I could just watch television. Okay, rajas will say, why should I do this? What will I get from it? No? So tamas, rajas, there'll be internal resistance. And when you do that, then there's an internal strife. This is in the beginning. Later on, as you're doing karma, create a lot of initiative within yourself. And when you create initiative, you create more jobs for yourself. And now you're working beyond your capacity. Since you're working beyond your capacity, it becomes difficult. You start making mistakes, you will start forgetting stuff. And then you'll say, oh my God, look at the mess I'm doing. Another internal resistance. All right. So all these internal resistance creates exhaustion. So as you up your ante, you improve how much you're working, you will find this. Then it will cruise. Then again you increase it, again everything goes berserk. But then slowly you cruise again. Many people get away from work because the moment they start work, they'll find this, exhaustion, internal resistance, all this going on. So they say, oh my God, my peace is going away with this work. It has to. But keep doing it. It's like, what should I say? You're cycling, you keep falling off. And your argument is that I could have walked and gone faster. You see, it appears like that. It says, this is not helping because I'm not reaching my destination faster. It appears like that. Keep on trying that balance. And then you go way faster than your feet can ever take you. Okay?
Thank you so much.
Mr. Chandwani?
Yeah, madam, one question, ma'am. Whenever we are told the steps, karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, then you go into meditation. When you can't do it, come back again to karma yoga, but that's the order we are told. But the book here in the first 4 yogas, first page, is talking first of bhakti yoga, the chronology I'm talking about, the jnana yoga, karma yoga, and the hatha yoga. Hatha yoga we leave aside for the time being. Now, when we are told to do karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga in that order, why is it mentioned on the first page that you start with bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, and karma yoga come last? Confusion.
No. It's not talking. All three have to be done simultaneously.
Okay.
Okay. In terms of comprehension, bhakti is easiest to comprehend.
Okay, that's why.
So you start with something always easier. Jnana is always
more difficult.
Yeah.
But then how does karma become easier than jnana then? More difficult rather.
No, it's not. No, that logic doesn't work for karma. What happens is you can't do karma until you have these two in place. How will you do it? You won't do karma yoga. You will do actions.
Joining God. Yeah, understood. Yoga.
So to do karma yoga, to do volunteer work, your emotions must feel inclined, or alternatively, your intellect must support it. Yeah. Then you will want to serve others. No.
So
otherwise, why would you? Everybody thinks in terms of
personal, selfish.
Yeah, selfish all the time. How much will I progress? How much money will I make? How much blah blah.
Okay, that is the reason why. Thank you, ma'am.
All three have to be done simultaneously. It's just that Jnana tells you that you must do karma.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, Pravesh, you had a question?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, as you said that karma yoga can be related to our profession also. Whatever work we are doing, we have to give 100% to that. Sometimes actually we are entangled with the materialistic world. So we have to fulfill the responsibilities as well. So what happens many times, we won't able to give 100% to that work because somewhere we are not living with the compassion that we want to live. We are doing those work just because that we have to fulfill the other responsibilities, because that is also the part of our life. So it sometimes makes confusion that what we have to actually live.
May I ask, what do you do?
Ma'am, I am by profession, I am a teacher, because actually what I realized, teaching is that part where we have to deliver the best education to the students. But what is happening nowadays, that teaching is a part, the other things are going in different ways. So sometimes it don't give satisfaction. That means like what we are doing, we are here for other work, but we are doing another work.
It is a big problem in education, and that's why we want to set up a university and change this thing. But until such time that we actually do that, the thing is, Pravesh, never in life is anything perfect. Nothing, right? Even when we set up our own thing and we're so, motivated to set it up, we're about to buy the land and we get all excited. But the thing is, the current system is not perfect, and whatever we set up will also not be perfect. What we can do is just the best we can do, given what it is. So as long as you remember what you're really there for, you want to, you want to provide the best education. Given the parameters under which you're forced to function, you do the best you can. Okay, I'm also an educator. Okay, what would I like? I would like, and I think, I genuinely believe that Vedanta has to be taught in person. Not only in person, people have to come, live there, and live the entire life, and then they grow with the knowledge of Vedanta. This is my belief. Okay, this is my ideal, my best case scenario. Now look at what I'm doing.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All of it is online. I mean, nothing is in person, right? So we can just do the best we can. What else can we do? If I try to collect everybody in this class and say, oh, come now, let us all live together and learn this. Come for a week, come for a month, come for anything. Like you, maybe you would love to learn this subject, but maybe you cannot take leave and come. So we work within parameters, but what we should not forget is what we're really trying to do. I am trying to be, let us say, you are an educator. You maybe teach in a school. Do you teach in a school?
Yeah, I'm in an engineering college.
In an engineering college. Yeah. So you, as a professor, you probably have to write all sorts of papers and do all sorts of silly markings and do lots of administrative stuff. Whatever you do, it takes your attention away from what is why you're really there. But now we can't help that. But don't forget it. And remember that I am being a good educator because I have to purify my personality. I'm doing nothing for anybody. Nobody relies on me in any way. But my personality has to be purified. And the best intention I can have is what will purify. So that frustration of not being able to do your best, in the area you want to, reduces somewhat.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know if you've read Milton's famous poem on his blindness. On his blindness. On his blindness.
On his
He
blindness.
was a great author and he went blind. Okay, he didn't have speech to text and all at that time. He had to actually physically write, right? How does an author write when you can't see? And so he writes this poem about his blindness. And he's sort of complaining to God and saying, why did you give me this skill to write if you're going to take my eyesight away? How do you expect me to do my work? Light denied. Light denied means I can't see. And then he himself responds. And he says, God doesn't need my work. God doesn't need anything from me. Thousands at his bidding, speed over land and sea. They also serve who only stand and wait. That intention of service is more important than anything else. That I am available to serve. As soon as there's an opportunity, I'm going to jump to it. But if there is no opportunity, well, they also serve who stand and wait.
Thank you, ma'am.
Dr. Prakash Parekh.
Am I restricting myself to understand Nishkam Karma Yoga when I say Karma Yoga, or Karma Yoga includes Sakam, Nishkam, and all gambit of Karma?
Karma Yoga, like every other thing in this world, is not a fixed point. Everything is relative. So doing karma means doing karma, meaning in the sense of volunteer work, service. Service means that I'm doing for you more than I am currently completely comfortable with. Like there's a slight effort in it. As long as I'm doing that, it's karma yoga. Okay, like just because, remember, what are we doing karma yoga for? We're doing karma yoga to purify our personality. Right? Now take, suppose you go to the gym. And why do you go to the gym? Because you're building your muscles. So how will you build your muscles? If you keep picking on whatever weight you're used to. Suppose you're used to 60 kgs and you pick 60 kgs. It's not building your muscle. But if you take slightly more than what is completely comfortable, then that will build your muscle. So it becomes karma yoga. Sorry?
So it means going beyond the age.
And yeah, not so much that you collapse, but slightly more, that you know there's a little effort in my doing this. If it's totally comfortable, now it has become not karma yoga, but karma bhoga. I enjoy doing it, I do it.
Thank you, Vasana.
So where had we started this whole concept of karma yoga from? We started by knowing that we as humans, or any creature in this world, except maybe a tortoise, I don't know, but humans for certain, have to constantly engage in action. We have to constantly be doing something, right? You can't just do nothing. So you have to do something. So if you have to do something, why is it that you're doing something? How did this force come on you that you have to do something? We have to do something because all our actions are generated from our vasanas. We have vasanas. Vasanas can be considered as inherent tendencies or unmanifest desires, just latent tendencies within us. You know, there's a struggle to explain what vasanas are for two reasons. Number one, there is no English word for it. And number two, having a word for it doesn't tell us what it is. So we have vasanas as something beyond the intellect. In Sanskrit, you have words for it because the philosophy is from there. So you have words like vasanas, avidya, anandmaya kosha, deep sleep, you know. So all of these can be used as synonymous terms. But we have some latent tendencies, which our intellect cannot conceive. They're just there. These tendencies manifest first as a thought. So if you have a tendency to be a painter, then it manifests first as a thought of a painting. Then it becomes a desire. I want to paint, or I want to look at painting, whatever your desire is, becomes a desire. And this desire then makes an action that you actually start painting. So every one of us has these vasanas. If we didn't have vasanas, we would not be here on planet Earth. So we have them. So we have the vasanas which then manifest as thoughts, desires, actions. And since that happens, we are forced to act. We have no option. We have to act. I mean, you do have an option. You can say, no, I choose not to act. So let us say you have vasanas for painting and you say, I will not act. What will happen?
You'll be frustrated.
Frustration.
You'll be frustrated. Then you will say, see, those people, they have money, so they can paint. But what's stopping you from painting? So you get frustrated. When you get frustrated, you say other people are so bad. But why? Anybody wants, suppose you want a car, but you do nothing to get one. Then every time somebody buys a car, you'll say, see, these people, all black money they collect. But why should you say anything bad about people? Somebody buys a car, I am upset. Somebody goes to a party, I am upset. Somebody gets married, I am upset. Mera na lena na dena. If the I can understand. He bought a car with my money. I understand I'm upset. He bought a car with his money. Now what am I upset about? So why do I get upset and frustrated? My desires have not been fulfilled. So if I have these vasanas and I choose to do nothing, I become terribly frustrated with life and therefore negative towards other people and so many other repercussions. So bottom line is, I have no option but to act. Now, since I have no option but to act, I get a very interesting thing. I get a choice of which action. In the case of an animal, animals have vasana, thought, desire, action. But they don't have any choice here. A tiger cannot choose to go make friends with the cows. It can't choose like that. A lizard cannot choose that, oh, I don't think I should eat moths. I think I'll try ice cream from tomorrow. A lizard cannot choose like this. Every other creature has vasana, thought, desire, action. Finished. They will do that. So they can do anything. And it is okay. Because there is no choice. But in the case of a human being, fortunately or unfortunately, we have been given choice. This is where the problem starts. No other creature has a problem. Nah. Have you ever found a tiger who's stressed? A lizard who's under depression? You don't find all these things. There are some tigers who are stressed. Who are those tigers who are stressed?
Who are in
Circus.
cages.
Yes, where human beings have gone and done something. The human being is not involved, the whole world is happy. Everybody is doing their own thing. The sparrows are doing their thing, the tiger is doing his thing, the rose is doing its thing. Everybody is living a nice life. But let the human being get involved, then all the problems start. You see the dogs on the street, they're all healthy. But dogs in people's homes are unhealthy. Strange, no? Because we will eat chocolate and we'll say, oh, mera Pintu, usko bhi chocolate do. Baba, you can't give little Pintu a chocolate. So, until a human being gets involved, everything is going very well. Now, why does the human being create so much confusion around the place? Because the human being alone has
A choice.
a choice.
Intellect. Choice.
No, intellect, no, choice first.
Choice.
बाद में. Choice. And we can use that choice to create wonderful things. And we can use that choice to destroy the world. And if you look at the world today, you will see exactly this. Some wonderful things are there, and some things are all destroyed. Like, for instance, we have this online class, right? If any of you all think it's a good idea to have this online class, then somebody has figured out how this thing is done, right? All internet and laptops and I don't know what all, electricity, so many things are involved. A human being is human beings have created this. And human beings have created climate change and brought creatures to extinction. In fact, made some creatures extinct. You know the story of the dodo, right? There was one last poor dodo left on the surface of this earth. And a human being went and shot it. Now this poor dodo is a sightless bird. उसको दिमाग भी नहीं है, उसको आंख भी नहीं है, वो तुमको कुछ कर भी नहीं सकता. That you go and shoot it. Why did you shoot it? ऐसे ही मन किया, पागल है क्या? What's wrong with you? And so the last dodo died, and now dodos are extinct. They're so foolish, right? And you know what they do? The massive fishing trawlers, they take these massive nets and they sweep the ocean floor. And they manage to get rid of almost all the ocean life. Marine life is on the verge of extinction because we have created massive trawlers, massive nets, and a massive desire for profit. And soon there'll be only plastic in the ocean, no fish. This is a human being. Both sides are human being only. So we have a choice. And with that choice, we can do the best of things and we can do the worst of things. We can give up our lives for people. We can take other people's lives. Human being. So a tiger can take lives, but will a tiger ever go and give up his life for anyone? Doesn't, no? So amazing. So we have a choice. Since we have a choice, we need to study about action. Which action shall I choose? Shall I go to symbiosis and do my... Forgot again. What are you doing, Bhavna? I can't hear you. You're muted. Psychology? What is psychology? Can't hear you. It's okay. Shall I go to symbiosis or shall I go to Rishihood? Shall I go to IIT or shall I go to, I don't know what, Timbuktu? All I have a choice constantly. Which one shall I choose? Karma Yoga is the education on how to choose and how to do it. One is you chose, I'm going to symbiosis. Okay, now you've gone to symbiosis. Now what are you doing? Again, you're getting a choice. Again, you're getting a choice. Again, you're getting a choice. Every moment you're getting a choice. So you have to learn how to choose and having chosen, how to do that properly. Yeah, Deepraj.
So when animals come in contact with humans and they change, they change their nature, is it just that they change their nature because they cannot change their nature, right? They don't have a choice. It is just the environment that they have right now is different. So they will act differently. So say a cat who didn't used to, there are these things called cat grass and all that, right? And the cats will eat the grass, but in its natural habitat, it will only eat like meat or something like that. So that means the cat already had a latent desire for that grass.
No, it is the human being tricking the animal.
How does it trick the animal?
By giving the perception of it being so. Like, remember the mad cow disease? Maybe before your birth that was. These bright sparks, they found the cattle feed, the cattle is supposed to eat grass and stuff, right? Or the cows are supposed to eat grass. So these bright sparks thought, now so much money we are wasting on all this. They took the sort of, what should I say, the leftovers of meat, ground it up in a way that the cow couldn't make out what it was eating, gave it to the cow. The cow got the mad cow disease, transferred it to human beings before they realized that what they have done. Then all those poor cows had to be slaughtered. For no fault of them. You trick them. Like you take a animal, you put it in a cage, you frustrate the thing, right? So you're not changing their nature. You're creating, what should I say, frustration in them or disease in them or something like that. Like people keep dogs, then they go to work. But you're a single person, and you go to work, whole day you've kept the dog locked up in the house. So obviously the dog will get frustrated. You're creating artificial frustration. Take the dog out and let it go. The frustration will be gone.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, so human beings get to choose. Now, so we are going to study Karma Yoga so that we learn how to choose and how to execute. It's not enough to choose. See, you may choose the right partner. You may choose the best partner for yourself. But if you don't know how to execute in the marriage, you could be a prince and princess of a mighty nation and only end up ripping each other apart. Okay, so shall we read? Okay, so all those, Bindya, Bindya, how are you doing, Bindya? Is this comfortable today? Clear? Okay, great. So now in this class, what we do is that anybody reads a paragraph and summarizes it in the briefest way you can. So who volunteers to read the next paragraph?
I can read.
Please.
Your like and dislike, your attraction and aversion, attachment and revulsion for things, beings and actions, turn out to be the greatest enemy working against you. Few realize their impact on one's life. If not
Sorry,
governed,
did we do the previous paragraph last time?
Yes, we've done that.
We've done that. Okay. All right. All right, then just a second, Deepraj, I missed that. So before we go there, just let's, for the moment, summarize this one too. The body, this physical body, does karya, does an action. This action can come to us. We can be made to do action by one of two things within us. One thing within us is called the man. In Sanskrit, manas. In English, mind. The mind in us is our emotions, our likes and dislikes, our whims and fancies. All of this, the irrational side of our personality, our conditioning, all of this is the man. The other aspect of our personality is the intellect, buddhi. Buddhi has viveka, discrimination, reason, logic, judgment, decision. All this is the intellect. For all those who are attending for the first time and also for those who have been attending, please notice the difference between these two things. It's a critical difference because on this, everything is based. We have a mind, I'm repeating, we have a mind, man, manas in Sanskrit, which has our emotions, our likes and dislikes, our feelings, our whims and fancies. I feel like doing this, I feel like doing that. All of this are conditioning. You know, in the past, this was done like this. My father did this, my mother did this. In our family, we do this. In our country, we do this. All of this is the mind. The other aspect of us is the buddhi, intellect. This means viveka, discrimination, reason, judgment, analysis. Okay, two separate things within us. The man and the buddhi, the mind and the intellect. Is everybody clear about this distinction? Okay, I'm going to give you examples and please tell me. I feel like eating a sweet. Says who? Mind or intellect?
mind.
Mind.
Honey beans. Honey beans, can you give me an example? Honey beans. Nagendra, can you give an example? You can write it in the chat or talk, whichever works for you. Nagendra. Whose iPhone? What happened? All right. Who else? Pravesh, can you give me an example?
Ma'am, today I don't want to go outside. It is my the emotion that is generated in mind.
Very good. Excellent. This is an emotion. Now give me a thought from the intellect.
Like I have to go for my job daily at, means I have to reach at 9. This is my intellect that I have to do my responsibility sincerely.
Okay, very good. So if it's clear, everybody, what is mind, what is intellect, clearly, because it's an important concept. So we have to pause and ensure everybody's with us. We all have to grow together. So everybody clear? Any confusion? Okay, so let's proceed. Now, what I feel it is prioritized. Wait, honey. I feel it is prioritizing practicality. Honey, who says this? I feel it is prioritizing practicality. Who says it? Who is making this statement? I feel it is prioritizing practicality.
So when in the entire Am I audible?
No, who is making, who is saying this? Mind or intellect? I feel it is prioritizing practicality. Who is saying it?
This is coming from the brain, but when
No,
in the
you don't get a choice of brain. You get a choice of mind or intellect. You have to say one of these two.
So it is coming. So your intellect is stating that yes, you have to choose your practical schedules rather than going over emotions and just following what actually is not unplanned in the day's time. But sometimes priorities. So there are certain urgencies which take over important tasks. So we end up getting frustrated that ways. So
Okay, don't go so much into it. Just tell us something the mind says and something that the intellect says, so that we know that you know the difference. Say something that your mind will see.
yes, so it is all coming from the mind to prioritize your schedules, but
It's coming from the mind to prioritize your schedule.
no, sorry, the intellect, but it is coming from the mind to just follow certain other things which you feel just to celebrate or just to be delighted from.
Okay, so if you define it like that, suppose it is your birthday. Okay, but it is not in your schedule today to eat cake. Will you eat cake?
Obviously, yes.
Yes, so don't put it like that.
So maybe
So
sometimes it is a bit confusing when there is a struggle between what you think and what you actually intend to do.
Yeah, but so because you're stick with the original definitions, don't change the definitions. A mere emotion. Okay, you're feeling angry, you're feeling happy, you're feeling lazy, you're feeling active, you're feeling like helping somebody. A mere emotion is the mind. There's no good and bad here, okay? It's just an emotion. Could be good things, could be bad things. Then intellect is your capacity to take a decision about what you should be doing regardless of what that emotion is. For instance, you may want to save money. This is what your mind says. Your mind says, I want to save money. Then your intellect can say, no, today my friend is in some problem. Let me give my friend some money. Or it could be the other way around. Your mind could say, my friend is in some problem, let me give money. And your intellect may say, no, this is not the time for you to be giving money. This is the time for you to be saving money. All right. So what we need to understand from this is intellect is your capacity to take the whole situation into consideration and decide what is the right thing to do. Mind is what you feel about it. So when we say it is your reason, it is your judgment, it is your discrimination, that means you stopped and you thought, okay, this is what I feel, but this is what I think I should be doing. Right? So it's not like mind is saying, be vegetarian and intellect is saying be non-veg. It's not what you're thinking. It is how you are thinking. Right? Are you thinking reason-based Or are you thinking emotion-based? Intelligence, Dr. Prakash Parekh, coming to you now. Dr. Prakash Parekh, intelligence we use over here in this class to mean that there is, what should I say, a lot of information. Intelligence refers to information. Like, are you a doctor as an MBBS or doctor as an PhD?
I'm an orthopedic surgeon.
You're an orthopedic surgeon. Okay. So when you went to for your specialization, they taught you, I don't know, whatever they teach in orthopedics, right? So you got a lot of information on that subject. Others were there with you. They got the same information as you got. But everybody who was there at that time will not be the same level of surgeon. Okay, that difference is known as intellect. Everybody is equally intelligent in your batch. Everybody is equally intelligent in terms of the information they have received or the information they know or what they wrote in their exam maybe. But who can execute that in the right way at the right time? And, you know, like every doctor does not diagnose the same, right? Though they've all been through the same college. So that difference is the intellect. Okay.
Got it. Thank you.
9.
Yes, Janki-ji, as you mentioned the example, one feeling like having veg and then having non-veg, that would more like be mind versus mind. Is that?
Can be.
And,
Can be.
but if I say veg does not have cholesterol, and then I'm applying the intellect, is that?
Right. Or whatever, any reason you give. You may say, I can do minimum damage by eating vegetarian food.
Okay.
It's not possible for me to eat without damaging. The fact that I'm alive itself is a damage to this environment. You know, all the time, right? I'm giving out carbon dioxide. I'm constantly, I'm walking somewhere, I'm killing germs and all sorts of weird things. So the fact that I'm alive, I am a debit for nature. But let me not make it more so. What is the minimum I can do? Any reason that you give that you had to do that. But if you say something like I'm vegetarian because my family is vegetarian, not because I'm vegetarian, I've never thought of it, my family is vegetarian, I'm vegetarian. Then this is mine because it's conditioning.
Okay.
You are muted, 9.
What was the difference between tamasic intellect and mind?
Tamasic intellect is intellect. This is the distinctions in the intellect itself. See, just because you're using an intellect doesn't mean that, that you're saying something sensible, right?
Right.
Like all doctors may not agree or all scientists may not agree. So just because the intellect is used doesn't mean you're using it correctly. When you use it incorrectly, it could be tamasic and rajasic intellect. So intellect is being used. Okay, try and understand it like this. There is a peacock. The bird peacock has a certain flying ability. It can go to the top of a short tree or something. The bird crow or pigeon has a better flying ability. It can go to taller trees. And the, what is it, Ruppel's griffon goes up to like something like 32,000, 37,000 feet, like a commercial aircraft. They're all birds, they're all flying, but their range is different.
Mm-hmm.
So just because you're using an intellect doesn't make you correct. Just because you're a bird doesn't mean you can fly at that level. Like Newton sees an apple fall. Suppose there is a person there using his intellect. He may say, oh, what a nice apple. I should eat it. It's healthy food. I should eat it. Newton sees exactly the same thing and comes up with the laws of motion. Both have used their intellect, but a world of difference, right? So just that you're using your intellect doesn't mean you're in the higher echelons.
Thank you, Shanti.
Okay, mind and intellect is at least largely clear. Especially for anyone who's come new. Shalini, is it largely clear? I think you are new.
Yes, ma'am, getting clear. Thank you, ma'am.
Honey, are you okay?
Yes, ma'am. I just had one question. I mean, if let's say there is this intellect which we can orient it in a manner that the actions don't hurt someone or they are not incorrect. So how we condition that state of our mind so that this happens and we follow that right path even unconsciously?
Whatever you do unconsciously is the mind.
Yes.
So basically, the intellect has to educate the mind with knowledge. And this is sort of how it works. Whenever you gain knowledge, it's a struggle. So you've understood something, but you feel only here. Okay, you understand you must help people, but you don't actually feel one with them. So it's like this. Then as the intellect keeps on educating itself, the mind rises up to this level. Now you feel with people. So unconsciously you serve them, you do all this. This is the mind now. Now to use the intellect, you'll have to go a little higher again and learn something more. Again, you will find the disparity between what you feel and what you think. So you work very hard, you study very hard, you bring the mind up here. Now you're doing the good things, but it's the mind. So now you'll have to get the intellect to grow again. So it's not like you're going to at any time have your mind and intellect at the same point. And if you do, you're stagnating. Your intellect will always be 2 steps ahead. And that's what we want. We'll always be 2 steps ahead of the mind.
Very good. Thanks, ma'am.
Okay, Deep Raj, will you read now?
I'll just start from the top. Your like and dislike, your attraction and aversion, attachment and revulsion for things, beings and actions turn out to be the greatest enemy working against you. Few realize their impact on one's life. If not governed by the intellect, they could lead you to destruction. People are unaware of the devastating nature of the mind. Worse still, they nurture and nourish their likes and dislikes, pamper them, and go through suffering and sorrow. The practical way to circumvent the impact of your likes and dislikes is to rise above them by pitching up an ideal in life. An ideal is a higher goal, a common cause that you can choose to work for, above your self-centered interest in life, wherein your interest and attention is focused towards the higher values of life rather than your selfish ends. If you do not dedicate your life to an ideal, you will remain enslaved by your likes and dislikes. First point, that likes and dislikes play in our lives without our knowledge, without our proper acknowledgement as to how destructive they are. Second thing, we can circumvent this problem by pitching up an ideal. That ideal will engage our intellect. And third, if we do not do this, we'll remain enslaved by our likes and dislikes.
What is the difference between point 3 and point 1?
Point 3 is our current state, and point 1 is our current state, and point 3 is suggestion or an call to action.
Okay. But basically it means that our life, yeah, very good, Deepraj. Basically, what it's saying is your mind can destroy you. And if you don't want your mind to destroy you, then you better pitch up a higher ideal. So the first point is, okay, you can make it two separate ones also if you like. So is that clear to everyone? Your mind can destroy you. Now, instead of me explaining for 1,000 years how our minds can destroy us, who would like to explain how can our mind destroy us? Thousands of years I'm explaining this idea. So who will give us examples? Give us a way. Tell us how the mind destroys. Who will do that?
You
Yes.
go.
1 second, Dr. Parekh.
Yes, Mataji. If mind is not in my control, it's going to create thousands of impulses and thoughts to destroy things around, and that will be the greatest enemy for me and for the world.
Yeah, give me an example. How? How are we going to be your greatest enemy for oneself and for the world?
I will think that the things around me are bad. People around me are doing bad things to me and develop negative impulses and thoughts for them and start working against them. Rather than helping any of them, I try to create obstructions and hurdles and then eventually become the best enemy of all of them.
Yeah. So often very good. So often when I don't examine my impulses, I start disliking people for no reason at all. And when I start disliking people for no reason at all, what am I going to do? Try to harm them in whatever way I can, sometimes in aggressive ways, actually going and harming them, sometimes in passive ways. In psychology, they call it passive aggressive. That means you don't deny them anything and you don't give them also anything. You don't let them function only. But all the time you can be quite sweet and accommodating, but you make sure that their job is not done. So if you're a passive person, you behave like that. If you're an aggressive person, you go out with talwar. But in either case, it is coming from the same unexamined dislike of people. Good. Momita. Example, I love my child, so do not allow him to go abroad for studies. Very nice. Correct. Many parents actually harm their children in this way, not letting them do what they want to do under this guise of I love you so much. Yeah, Reshma.
Being diabetic, I end up eating sweets and then suffer the consequences thereof.
Yes, but now you can't say that because you heard that so many times. You have to come up with another one.
Not doing morning study and continuing to be who I am.
Okay, good. Yes, so what does my mind say? Oh, I'll watch little more Netflix at night, one more serial, one more, half an hour more, one more episode I'll watch. But consequences, early morning you can't get up, you can't study, you can't do your exercises, you're rushed in the morning, and then you're running, and then you get stressed, and then one day you get a heart attack. And destroy yourself. Why are you doing all this? Millions. Terrorism. Yes, terrorism also. What else?
In terms of trying to keep up with the Jones, middle class people buy things that they can't afford with money that they don't have. They borrow money and they get into debt.
Very good. Another example where I don't want you to have more money than me, so I'm going to pretend I have more money. And you don't want to have more money than me, so you're going to pretend, and both of us are going to wreck our own lives because we are both pretending to be richer than the other. So good. Yes. What else? See, you all are so good. Why do I need to explain anything? You all know everything.
Drinking and driving is very thrilling, so let's do it.
Very good. Drinking and driving. Oh, let me show off to my new girlfriend how much I can drink.
Cluttering your house because you find a sentimental attachment to each and everything.
Sorry, say it again. Elsie, you're muted. Did you say something? If you did, you're muted. Right, Pravesh, unhealthy lifestyle, correct. Stunts on bike, Milind. Anger will destroy you, correct, Bindya. bhavna, comparing ourselves and our lives to others, correct? So you get it, right? It's not that tough. We all can recognize what our minds are doing. So, therefore, we have to have the solution to it. And there's only one real solution to that, unfortunately. That you have to aim for something high. Because why will you give up your likes and dislikes? Why? Suppose you have negativity towards someone in your building. Why will you give it up? Why will your mind give it up? It will only do it if you care for your building more than you care for the dislike you have for this person. So the only way to do this really is to pitch up a higher ideal, so that we are willing to sacrifice whatever our mind is saying for that higher thing. And that is how we go about it. And when you start having that higher ideal in mind, you have entered into the realm of Karma Yoga. Yeah, 9.
Yeah, because sometimes somebody might be taking up a higher ideal, thinking that it's good, like somebody taking up sannyas, but he's not ready for it. He might be just practicing escapism. So that would also be in mind, right?
Right. But if he takes it up genuinely, but has made an error, okay, he wants to evolve, he takes up sannyas thinking it will help him evolve, and he's genuine. I mean, his intellect has decided it will do that. Then he will one day find out this system doesn't work.
Oh.
And be willing to go back and start again. But if his mind has gotten involved, oh my God, what do people say now if I come back from sannyas? Then, okay, then the theory goes. But if he keeps with his higher ideal, even an error of judgment will keep him on track.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, so that's it.